Um, so the whole purpose of my project was to see the effects that video games have on a person's eye vision and see if the amount of time you play will actually affect it. And I also wanted to find out if there were any positive effects that were caused on the eyes by playing video games. And there were definitely both good and bad effects caused on the eye. For example, if you play certain games like Call of Duty, I noticed that people who tended to play more couldn't really focus as much on smaller objects, and I tested this by having people look at an eye chart like the ones we see at the doctors covering an eye over, and the people who tended to play more had trouble focusing on the smaller letters at the bottom of the chart, and those who played 2 to 4 times a week are the ones who scored better. Right here you can see...
What was your hypothesis, Adrian, going into it? What did you think you were going to find out?
That people who played video games were going to have better focus.
You thought they were going to have better focus. So it actually proved your hypothesis wrong?
Because I did previous research and it said that people who play video games will have better focus, but it just didn't say how much time they actually did. But here you can see this is a group that played 2 to 4 times a week, and I did an average. So then the growth increased out of 10. 6 out of the 10 people actually increased in their scores from before and after playing. 3 decreased, and 1 stayed the same.
Okay.
And then for people who played 7 times a week, 3 of them increased, 6 of them decreased, and 1 stayed the same.
Okay, cool. Talk to me about your literature review. What's some of the stuff you researched?
Well, I just wanted to see what good effects there were, and I feel like, I noticed that people who didn't play as many video games, their eye vision definitely got better because of it, but then playing too much video games will cause bad effects such as like your eyes getting dried up, so then your vision is going to get blurry.
Was that consistent with what the research said as well?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And what was some things that surprised you that you learned about just in your literature review, please?
That video games can actually help you. I didn't really know that, what people usually say that video games will damage your eyes. But going into the project, I started researching some good effects about it, and that actually surprised me.
Excellent. And so, can you elaborate more on what levels can video games actually help your eyesight?
Limiting yourself, definitely, because it wasn't 2 to 4 days in a row. It could have been 2 to 4 days spread out
in a week.
Yeah, but then 7 days a week. That's like
every day.
Yeah, keep on going. So that will definitely affect your eye in a negative way because of the light you get to your eyes.
Excellent. Can you talk to me about some future research? If you were going to redo and do a second experiment that was similar to this, what would you do differently, or how would you extend this project?
I would probably do it in a more private area, I think, because those were some of my experimental errors.
Talk to me about this.
During the project, there were people who, because the cable, we had to put it under the door, so it would connect to the plug, and then people would constantly come into the room and open the door, and then sometimes I would turn off the console, so we would have to restart all over. Got it. Okay.
So that was some of your experimental errors, having to start over, so they already would have played video games for a little bit, and then they played for a little longer. So was that, did that happen in both groups, or did it happen in one group more than the other?
No, it happened constantly.
It happened constantly. So so it's almost like it was a constant experimental error that affected everybody. Okay, so that's kind of good across the board. What are some other things that you would do with this experiment and to learn more or to extend your knowledge?
Like I said, do it in a more private area, because the door in the back, sometimes it was open and sometimes it wasn't. So I feel like the reflection on the TV would impact the way they play. Yeah. So I feel for some people the scores might have been different because of that.
Okay. Talk to me a little bit about, if you were to do another video game experiment, what do you think you would take the knowledge that you have already? What's the next thing you would want to test? Or would you want to test vision again? And if so, how would you do it differently?
I think I would do vision one more time.
And how would you change it up?
With a video game that has a lot of more flashy effects or more brighter lights and more effects.
Okay, how come?
Because I think that's gonna change the way you actually play the video game, and you're gonna see it differently because of all the lights and all the stuff that's going on at the same time.
Awesome. Talk to me a little bit about a procedure. If I were going to be one of your test subjects, what would your procedure look like?
Well, first I would have to take, you would have to take the survey, and here's a copy of the survey that the people had to take, and then...
And can you elaborate, just give me some basics about the survey?
It was just like, how often do you play? Oh, and the constant was that you had to be a boy.
So you did all males in this?
Yeah.
So none of this was female-oriented, this was male. What was your reasoning for that?
Because I just wanted to have a constant, and probably the way their brain works.
Okay, different in brain usage, and also I think easier to find test subjects that were male. All right, no problem. So you started with the survey, and then after your survey, what did you do?
I made them take the eye test. I had 2 charts, one for before and one after, just so the letters were scrambled up. And then after that, they played for 10-minute time periods, and after that, they took another test.
Okay.
To see how their eyesight.
Awesome. How would you tie this to other things that you might study in your future? What do you think this helps you and gives you better information about for your future?
Probably.
Or did it impact you personally?
Yeah.
Talk to me about why.
I play video games and I feel like I should, well, I don't really play that much, but, you know, summer's coming up, so I should definitely limit myself to how much I do play. And trying to stay under 5 days a week will probably benefit me, and spreading those days out so it's not 5 days in a row.
So so it's changed your behaviors. Did you ever find fatigue in your eyesight after playing video games? Did you personally find it? So this was actually based on your own personal background?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I just wanted to see the effects of it.
Awesome. If you were to change anything and you got a chance to totally redo this, a whole project, with the time that you were given, what would you have done differently? Or what do you think some of your weaknesses in this project were?
Well, that's another thing. The places where I did the test, so I did some people at school, and then I had other, like, cousins and brothers do it at home. So I feel like the change in environment could have affected that.
Excellent.
So making it all in one place would be something.
Awesome. Can I see, please, your dated data records and your citations, and if you have your notebook? Oh, you talked to me about your notebook already.
Yeah, everything's in there.
Got it. Okay. So let me see, here's your citations. Great. Can I see some of the evidence of your data collection in here? Your data tables, just, I know you've got them up on the board, yeah. How did the people who took the test react to you? Did they want to know feedback? Did they?
They just wanted to play.
They just wanted to play. So they didn't care that they were actually testing, huh? Yeah. Okay, cool. And how did you measure? What was your measurement tool?
Just their score. The score that they got on the test, on the eye test.
On the eye test, so the number correct?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. That was it.
I measured it out of 12 each time.
And there were 12 letters on the eye test?
No, just like the rows, as they got smaller, the smaller letters, sometimes I did them 2 times in the same row.
Okay.
So that they would have to focus more on the smaller letters.
So where did you get the number 12 from?
Just random.
Okay,
I just counted. For the first one, I just counted and I see how many I did, so I just kept that.
Got it. So there were 12 letters, and you counted how many they got right.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to hear. Okay, cool. Thank you very much, sir. You are all done.